everything you need to survive. And, well, I think you're crazy. You created your own destiny. Oh, well, look at my face when I say the words I'm about to say. Oh, you're so lucky I loved you. You're so lucky that you made it so far. And you're so lucky I loved you because I never really liked you at all.
What's up? Here we go. I gotta shut this crap off. All right. So here we are, Minor Disturbance Radio Live. We are on the air. Look at that. We got 11 people. That would have been really embarrassing if when that timer went off, there was like one person, and it's probably my mom. Anyway, so yeah, we have 14 people here. Very cool. Very cool. So what I'm going to do, I called Wonkzilla. We're doing a live Minor Disturbance Radio. I'm going to be here for an hour. I think we're going to talk to Wonk for a little bit. Can everybody hear me? Are we cool? We got some comments? All right. Already people commenting. All right, cool. All right, let's see what these buttholes are saying. Okay, so anyway. What are you saying here, Chuck? Pretending to be a cop told me the neighbors were complaining, so I went inside. You're an idiot, Chuck. All right. All right, Matt, thank you, Kirshner, for letting me know you can hear me. Anyway, this is really weird. This is really, really weird to do this. I'm really excited, though. I've called Wonk. I don't see him in my log here to add to the show, but I'm sure that he will figure it out. But anyway, this is going to be a lot of fun because what I'm going to do is I'll talk to him a little bit. We'll announce whatever we're going to announce, and then we can chat afterwards. But so, yeah, waiting for Wonk again. They must have – look, I'm going to interrupt their practice is what's happening. They're at practice. Wonkzilla's zombie apocalypse is practicing right now, and I told them, hey, take a break and give me a call on Minor Disturbance Radio, and we will Mary Bragg's here. What's happening? Or no, she just got tagged. Joe, thank you. Thank you. Get her ass in here. That's right. So I'm trying to show some of these comments as they happen here. James McD, thanks for being here, man. We're going to chat in a little bit. Jason Petty, thanks for staying up. My man, thanks for the hat, too. Dude, you rock. I know you gave it to my son, but I stole it from him. So, okay, we are going to, as soon as Walt gives me a call here, I don't know, maybe you found something better to do. But, okay, well, we can hang out for a little bit until he calls. He should come into my little member thing. I'm just starting using this thing. I don't know how it works, but I'm going to give this thing a shot. So as soon as he comes into my little log here to where it says that he's waiting to be on the show, I'll put him up here and we'll talk. So anyway, yeah, so you guys want to chat for a little bit? I wanted to explain some things about what I've been doing with my gig logs and stuff like that. Okay. All right. Neil, Neil, do you need to show him how to work a phone again? Did he forget? You know, these bearded men tend to not be able to work phones. So we're all waiting for you, big star. Is he here? He's not in my little list of people. Maybe I'll invite him again. Last time we had him on, he was right there. He's already on when I started the damn thing. So I'll try it this way. I'll copy the invite and see when I go to my messenger to send it to you, it just says send to, and then when I try to put Wonk, it just says his name, Wonkzilla. So it's coming to his actual Facebook page or his messenger, not the Wonkzilla zombie apocalypse site. So that's what's happening there. So we'll see if we can find that. Oh, okay. All right. Well, hey guys, check it out. Oh, there's Wonk. Here we go. This, like I said, this is the first time I'm doing this. This is interesting. I'll be here for an hour. We'll hang out until 8:30. I won't waste all you guys' time, but we're going to have a good time. So we're going to add to the show right now, Mr. Wonkzilla. Here we go.
We'll hang out until 8:30.
You there, bro?
What's going on?
All right. So look at this. We got 14 people watching us right now, Wonk.
I think 4 of them are us.
Okay, cool. You guys all on the same, on 4 different phones?
Yeah, we got a couple of these. Trying to see what it looks like. I don't get to see what it looks like.
All right. Hey, thanks everybody for being here. So yeah, Neil, you're on here. You're chatting on here. Okay. Listen, we're going to talk a little. Hey, Neil, you guys all know who Neil is, right? lead guitar player for Wonkzilla's Zombie Apocalypse. What is it?
Hear that, Ty?
Zombie apocalypse.
What is it? The Rob Zombie
Experience, man.
I know, man. Hey, I got to mess with you guys. So, hey, this is band practice. You guys are like a fly on the wall right now. What were you guys in the middle of, by the way?
We were in the middle of our White Zombie set, actually.
Oh, okay. All right. So that's like country stuff or
Hip hop.
You guys do any country at all?
A little reggae.
Yeah, some reggae, a little hip hop.
All right. So this is interesting, Wonk, because it's like I remember when I started doing Minor Disturbance Radio years ago, you were one of the first names that popped up in the online chat that we had every the show on Saturday.
Yes, sir. I was there
Right.
from the beginning. Well, the beginning when you switched to the rock station or the modern rock station.
So it's interesting because since then, because you were just a weird name, it just said Wonk in the comments. And I remember Travis having to tell me, "Oh, I know this guy. You know, his name's Billy," and he he referred to you as Billy. He didn't want to call you Wonk because we all know that Travis is like that. But so here's this Wonk guy commenting, and he's part of the cult, right? And now, I mean, back then you were doing nothing. You were just a name, a Wonk name, and now you're like taking over the entire world with your zombie band, and you're just taking over. The Wonkzilla is like a brand now.
Probably annoying to some people. I'm all over the place. You're right.
Right, you're making some people dizzy, but no, I mean it's interesting to me that you've done so much since way back then. I mean, what got you into doing a zombie tribute, homie?
So it's a long story. I don't know how much time you got, but so after COVID, was hanging out at Ty 5, who is the lead guitar player of the band, doing concrete work. There's the porch. So yeah, I was here doing that concrete work, and I've known Ty for 30 years, and used to be a roadie for some of his old cover bands. Okay. And every once in a while, he let me get up there, and at the end of the night, when everybody was hammered or had left, he would let me get up there and do a song here and there. Right. But anyways, back up here to the present, and he was like, "You ought to come in. We ought to jam, like just me and him, like a vocal and a guitar." And I'm like, "Man, I don't know, dude. I got other stuff I want to go do." And then the third time, he got me a few drinks, and I was like, "You know what? All right, cool. Let's go see what you got." So I looked at the set list. I kind of knew a few of the songs, and one of the songs on there was Thunder Kiss. And I'm like, fucking love Thunder Kiss. And that's kind of how the zombie thing started. And we put together our first show. It took a while to get enough guys to form a full band. And we did a Halloween show at the Village Theater. And I decided to dress up as Rob Zombie. And actually, Brian, you were there for that first show. And kind of coming around full circle here. Ty remembers you after the show telling him, "You guys ought to be sticking to the zombie thing." And it kind of stuck with Ty. And
I said that?
Yes, you did. That is 100% true story.
I remember saying that you guys should probably play more country. But...
No, he did not. No, but so that kind of stuck in Ty's mind, and he respects you a lot for what you've done, and you guys have played together too. And he kind of threw that at me a little bit, and kind of him and Damon actually at the time both convinced me that, you know what, maybe we should do a zombie tribute and take off and see where it goes. So it's kind of what we end up doing.
Okay, all right. What is Tom? You're saying something. Turn your microphone up, Brian. You want my microphone up? Woo! I don't know. I think it's up as far as it's gonna go right now. I'll adjust that later, but I'm pretty sure that I'm in this thing. Right?
Talking about you.
You guys can hear me good, right? Here, I'll check over here. See, look at that. There's a huge delay on this thing. Here.
Oh, yeah, huge delay.
Look how far behind we are.
Yeah, like it's still talking.
30-second delay.
I can hear. What are you talking about, Tom? You hear me just fine. Anyway, All right. So, hey, I see Ty back there. So Ty, I told Ty that you guys should stick with the zombie thing.
Yeah, the first show, right? Phyllis Theater. Don't do
He's
that.
like, I don't remember.
I don't even like you.
No, that was a true story. You told Ty we ought to be sticking with the zombie thing.
All right. Look at Ty. Ty don't age, man. That dude's 75 years old. Look at him.
I thought you were only 50.
Dude does like 150 push-ups a day. Ah,
He just did 150 push-ups during our first 3 songs.
yeah. Oh, okay, so in the background there, we see Neil, and everybody knows that Neil's lead guitar player in 3 Years Hollow as well.
Also wrong, but
Right? So,
Rhythm. He keeps saying rhythm.
oh, you were written. No, you weren't, dude. You had 2 lead guitar players, I thought. You had more tattoos, so you were lead, dude. There's no way somebody with that many tattoos was rhythm. All right, so let's get to this here. You guys, what's it like to work with Wonk? Does he think? I mean, is he getting like a big head and shit?
leave the fifth.
Let me go inside and I'll let these guys speak freely.
The first time Ty's not using his words.
So
Yeah.
does he make you refer to him as Wonkzilla?
We just got to be clear. He has no clout in this band. Like,
No.
he is,
I'm literally the roadie.
he's a roadie,
Big Willie.
screamer.
All right. So it looks like it won't let me know who all is here watching. So I think we have a lot of the MDR cult here, possibly, because
Shout out to the cult.
I know this is weird, right? So what we should do then, Wonk, is we should go ahead and explain what's going to happen here. And by the way, I had nothing to do with any of this. Okay, so I'm just going to go through what I did, and with the MDR show and all that stuff, and I just kind of stopped doing it. As everybody knows, I just was starting to lose the interest of doing it, so I stopped. And then, I had my reasons. I was quitting smoking at the time. I was quitting. I was trying to clean up some things in my life, and doing the radio show, recording it on Wednesdays, and then that was a trigger for smoking cigarettes and being that Brian Miner that I used to be. And then, of course, Saturday night when the show's on, sitting out there chain smoking, hanging out with the cult, right? And trying to keep up with the comments. And it was, it just got to be to where it was too much of a trigger for me. So I needed a break from all of it. And I just needed a few weeks to kind of clear my mind. And after I realized that, hey, I don't have to do anything on Wednesday, and, it frees up some time in my life. So I just stopped doing the radio show. And then I just told Ryan at iRock that I didn't know what I was going to do. And if he wants to fill that spot with something else, go ahead. But I don't know if I'm going to come back or when I'm going to come back. So in the interim, though, I think that there were a few MDR cult members that were interested in possibly trying to take over and do Minor Disturbance Radio, or at least do something that was old school metal and keep the cult together. And I didn't select anybody. iRock was on their own on this thing, but the whole thing is like Wonkzilla is going to take over the old school metal spot Saturday nights on iRock 93.5. And what are you going to call the show, Wonk?
Under the Influence with Wonkzilla.
Under the Influence with Wonkzilla. So your premise is going to be a little bit different than what I was doing.
Yeah, a little bit. Ryan did say, though, he wanted to keep it old school, which is what you guys were doing. And so going Under the Influence, Ty just grabbed my ass. Don't get me excited over here. So yeah, Under the Influence, which means I'm basically going under the influence of the songs that have influenced me and thousands of other musicians or fans or whatever. So that's kind of the premise of the song.
So now the old school metal show Saturday, it's still Saturday at 8, right?
It will be. Yep, Saturday at 8.
All right, cool. So I just want everybody to understand that he's going to have a new old school metal, and what you asked me, Billy called me and asked. He's like, "Look, man, I mentioned something to Ryan. Explain how this all came about. You said something to Ryan. I just want everybody that's in the cult to understand how this unfolded, because there's some other people that maybe would have loved to have done that as well. And how did it land on you?"
Well, I've had a working relationship with Ryan actually from the beginning of the band project. So I kind of got like a back line to be able to call him or text him or whatever. And when you kind of took off and did the Dirt Road Rockers thing, I guess I was under the assumption, I was like, he's off and running with this. So I hit up Ryan and just said, hey, if Brian is done with Minor Disturbance Radio, I would love to take a shot at filling the void. And at first he's like, you know what, I'll keep that in consideration. And then through an email for our last show at Rascals, basically confirming that Becky was going to be there, just all the logistical stuff of what 935 was going to do for us. He said, hey, by the way, are you serious about the Saturday night thing? And I was like, yes, definitely, for sure. So he invited me over to the station and had a skeleton of how I thought the show was going to go. But he basically wanted to make sure that I kept it old school. And he was really adamant that the cult was involved, whether or not we call it the cult or whatever we call it, but keep the listeners being able to do shout outs and being involved with the show. So I'm down with that. I think that's a killer thing. That whole cult is, that's its own thing with 935. And I tell you what, Ryan appreciates the cult and that listener group that's religiously there every Saturday night.
Well, that's because Saturday night's demographic was beating every other station at that time slot, and the cult really pulled through. And, for anything to be successful on radio, I mean, look at us right here. We're on Facebook trying to do our thing, and there's like 18 people out of 7 billion that even give a shit what we're doing here. So I have been through the trenches as far as trying to build a cult, and I think you being one of the first pillars, I mean, besides Jason Petty invented the cult.
He did. He's the OG for sure.
I mean, that's just the truth of the matter right there. He's on the screen right now. That's greatest guy, man. Super cool guy, and created the cult. And so, I mean, you got to give him his props. I didn't make that happen. Jason started that. He's the one that started talking about all the songs we were playing. He started the whole thing. So, to have him, I would want him to still be the head of whatever cult, if he wants to be. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
1000% agree.
Yeah. Cause you called me and asked if you can try to get the cult to follow your show. And, it's not gonna be called the MDR cult, but, I said, absolutely, man. I have a great time. I hope that you do twice as good as I did. I wasn't that motivated to try to be good at it. All we were trying to do, Wonk, you know what we were doing. We were having fun talking shit about old school metal, and Travis and I were having a ball with that, but then all of a sudden we realized that, are they here for us, or are they here to hear Anthrax?
Right.
And I think that there was a lot of people there to hear us, and they could care less about the music. I've seen it both ways. They were like, we want to listen to you two talk. We don't want to hear a whole bunch of old school metal because it sucks, right? And then there's people that shut up Brian and Travis. We want to hear the Killer Dwarfs, or whatever it is. So it was getting confusing. So I'll just stick to my little vlogs and playing in a country band, and turn the reins over to somebody that has the fire in their pants. Who all's that now? Was the whole neighborhood coming over?
No, it's all these fools.
All right, man. It looked like you guys multiplied or something. Like roaches.
Like roaches, yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, so I'm happy doing what I'm doing now. And by the way, you had mentioned that I'm doing the Dirt Road Rockers now. So I'm playing almost every weekend. And there's no way that I could do a radio show anyway. So that's what's happening with that. So, but Wonk, I wanted to congratulate you on the show. And I
can't see it here, but I can smell.
If you ever want me to come on your show and talk or whatever, I'd be happy to if I have the time, if I'm free. But,
yes, sir.
Yeah. So everybody, Wonkzilla is the new game master at the radio show there for the old school metal.
Yeah. No, I be a couple weeks out. We're actually recording the first episode Monday. Basically it's the pilot, and of course we'll get some critique from the man behind the curtain up there at iRock, and see how it goes. And in a few weeks he'll put out the first one, and we'll see what happens.
Okay.
I'm not always going to be able to be in the forum, obviously, with the zombie. We're busy too, but I'll definitely be, if I'm backstage or waiting to go on or whatever, I'll be checking in with everybody, and hopefully everybody likes what we're doing. So I plan on getting the battles going, and I've kind of warned a few of the cult already to think about getting a few songs ready to go so we can get those battles going again. So
awesome, man. Yeah, like I said, Wonk, I was trying to tell everybody why I didn't quit because 93.5 fired us or any falling out with the radio station at all. And I'm glad that it landed in the lap of somebody that's actually in the cult. Now I know that James McD is off doing his thing. He's got a live radio thing. He's playing music on Facebook too. So it's really cool that you guys are taking over while I go play country songs.
Maybe we can do a minor disturbance radio country show or something. I don't know.
I doubt you're gonna do
No.
Yeah. But hey, congratulations, Wonk. I appreciate that you are being so gracious, and you didn't just take over and be like, I'm gonna do what I want. I don't care what you think, Brian Miner. But you were kind enough to say, hey man, I'm taking the cult with me if I can, and I'm gonna do some of the same things that you were doing. And hey, I'm glad that I got it to this point to where it's something that's steerable. You know what I mean? Something you can get in and it actually is rolling. So good luck with it, my man, and good luck with the shows and the bands and stuff. And hey, I'll try to be as big a part of it as I can. And like I said, the offer's there. If you want me to come on sometime and irritate people and scare them, whatever, I'll do it.
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely going to happen.
All right, man. Well, I'll let you get back to your band practice, and we will talk to you soon, man. I look forward to hearing the show sometime.
All right. Thanks, Brian. Thanks for putting me on, and we'll talk soon. And once again, shout out to the cult.
Shout out to the
See you
cult.
in a few weeks.
Have a good one, guys. We'll
Peace
see
out from the zombie experience.
Somebody's making some money. Look at that, man. That definitely ain't no Davenport house right there.
No, this would be East Silvis over here. Yeah, Carbon Cliff. Yeah.
All right, man. You guys
All right,
take it
man.
easy. We'll see you. All right, so there you have it. That was Wonkzilla. The man's taking over. So, all right. So I'm gonna look at the comments now. I'm trying to keep up with the comments and everything like that. Kirshner, you're awesome, dude. Thanks for being here. You guys are always so kind, So, there is something that Travis is doing. So, there you go. So Joe asked, what about Travis? What do you mean? Like, what about Travis? Are you asking what he's up to now? Because he's doing something really cool. Wonkzilla is still there. He's like still there in my little waiting line to be on the show. I couldn't have anybody on the show. I can just send you a link and I can pop you up on the screen. That's what's so cool about this. So, okay. So you asked me, yep, the cult will go on with or without me. I was kind of hoping you guys would be like, nope. But obviously you don't care. Whatever, man. Doesn't matter who's talking in between songs, does it? Jesus. Whatever, you guys. All right. So, okay. I saw, hold on. I'm trying to figure out how to do this. Chicken Shack. Okay. All right, Joe. So, yeah, Travis and his wife, I mean, I don't know how much I can say about it, but I know that they had came up with an idea years ago, actually, that they wanted to try something new, right? And they wanted to do chicken strips because, dipping in different sauces, where they wanted to do like a chicken dipping thing. And for years, they just never did until now. And they've actually made the thing happen. So he's starting, I mean, they both have jobs already, like real jobs, but they're going to start this little side hobby thing of selling chicken strips and making their own homemade dips. I mean, from scratch. And if you know Travis, you know that Travis is going to go 100,000% down the road of figuring out how to make the best like ranch. You know what I mean? You're going to be like, oh yeah, he's not going to just go half-ass on it. He's going to go all in. So it's going to be down there at the farmer's market here in Davenport. They're going to have their inaugural thing. Well, it's flooded down there right now, but they were supposed to go on the 6th, but they moved it back a week. So what's the week after that? Do the math. The 13th. Yeah. So I think the Saturday, the 13th, they'll be at the farmer's market at a different location. And you guys got to go down there and say hi to Travis and like buy some of his chicken strips. Look, they're going to be like $10 for 2 strips. Okay, but they're going to be good, and it's hard to get a food truck type thing off the ground. And if you go down there, throw $10 his way, at least try it. You know what I mean? And then start talking about it. Start saying like, hey man, these were really good or whatever. Anyway, I just wanted to let you guys know that's what Travis is kind of up to now, and he's doing his thing, and he's more than welcome to take part in these types of things with me if he wanted to, but I'm not going to bother him with it yet. I mean, if I can get this thing off the ground, if we can get like 100 people to watch this damn thing, then I would probably get it off the ground. But right now I'm just testing the water, just seeing if you guys are even interested in any of it. So, do I need a tissue? Who is this dude? Who's this dude? Do you need a tissue? Why do tissue? Who's Kirk Johnson? I want to know what that means. What do you mean? Do I need a tissue? Just wondering. Oh, because you guys don't care who talked into the mic. Yeah, you're probably one of them, Kirk. All right. So yeah. When you're in the public like this and you do stuff. Ooh, Hollowell jumping on here talking crap. Okay, so look, all right. Let's see if I can show that one. What was it back then? I'm out of order with these damn comments, dude. They're coming in a little bit faster than I thought. But I'm going to jump over to this one because I understand this one. So Hollowell, look at this picture. Look at this picture with him and his dog. Look at that. Jeff, man, that's like a triple chin right there. My man. He said, what about Jeff Covert? Now, I don't know if any of you remember, but Jeff was the co-host when I first started the podcast 10 years ago or whatever it was. And he was on for a couple episodes, and then he got a job at John Deere. And then he couldn't make it anymore. So what about him? Do you want to know if he's going to be on this? Because this is basically what I'm going to do. I'm going to sit here and talk to people. I'm going to see what they want to know and just kind of hang out and do this every once in a while. Yeah, I was pouting, Kurt. I don't know. I wasn't, but yeah, not sure. Okay. You've always known Wonka's Billy. Yep. All right. So this is what we'll do then. What do I got left here? I said I'd be on until 8:30. Yeah. So I got like a half hour. So if anybody has anything they want to talk to me about, I would be happy to tell you the truth, because you know that I'm going to tell you the truth. You'll introduce me to who? Oh, okay. Hey, Matt, you're welcome anytime. I'll send you an invite right now if you want to come on and talk some crap. You're probably just going to sit there and I don't know, because I don't know what it'll sound like. And what do you have your? I don't even know. Never mind. We'll get you on here. I'll message you and let you know how we can do that, but maybe not right now. Anyway, all right. So okay. What's up, Tom? Have you decided on what kind of guitar you're going to play in the Dirt Road Rockers? If you're going to buy a Fender or an Ibanez, here's what I'm going to do. I am using these right here. All right. So I'm using my Hartfield Talons. Check that out. See? Fender. All right. So, and what I did though was I had the bridge locked so it doesn't move, so I can do cool bends without the other strings moving. And it plays just like a Strat or a Tele now. So I just had a couple of them fixed. I went down to Tony Carducci over there at I think it's Pond Central. I better say the right place. Yeah, over there at Pond Central in Rock Island, and had him he blocked the bridges for me, and then he put a push-pull knob, a volume knob on that thing, so I can go right to single coil. So when I'm digging into some of that real cool chicken picking shit, it goes right to the bridge pickup for me. So yeah, he did some modding on them guitars, and I'm not going to spend the big money on a Tele right now. I'm waiting. So I'd rather spend it on other stuff. Tony is the man. He hooked me up. All right, Brian. You coming to the Striper show? Of course I can't, man. I got to play a gig. I'm playing almost every weekend now. So whether I'm in got a bunch of Wisconsin stuff that I'm playing, Nebraska, we're going to be out of town most weekends. So this summer is going to be shot for me for all that stuff. I'm going to have to miss Skid Row. I'm going to have to miss Striper, but I'm there in spirit, my man. You know what I mean? I'm a huge Striper fan. Okay. So let's see. Gary So what's it like to be to not be? That's a good question, Gary. What's it like to not be the front man? So it's awesome because I don't have to call bars and try to negotiate prices. I don't have to. I mean, let's be honest here. I mean, I know I'm trying to talk fast and stuff, and this makes me nervous because there's people here that probably are just like, what the hell is Brian trying to do here? And let's try to see if we can make him feel bad or make fun of it or whatever people are going to do. I don't give a shit. You guys know me. I'm going to do what I want. But honesty is what I'm here for. And for a while there, being the front man of a band was starting to give me, I don't know, like, it's a young man's game, first of all. I mean, the type of front man I was trying to be or the type of band I was fronting was, in my mind, if you had to put like a brand on it, we were trying to be like Skid Row, you know what I mean? And like a real cocky lead singer that's whatever. And I'm 50, and to pull that off now and try to act like that just doesn't fit into my personality anymore. It just felt weird, and I felt like I looked weird, and it wasn't real anymore. I mean, being cool and rock and all that stuff, that's great, but I just felt, man, it would be really, really cozy to just pick the guitar up again and sit back there and play guitar. No matter, I don't have to worry about how my voice feels. If I don't have a good voice, if I'm not gonna be able to hit the high notes, if I'm not gonna be able to, I know I can play unless I break a finger or something. I'm gonna be fine, unless I pop a string. So it's a lot better to just sit back and let somebody else do all the work, man. A little bit of anxiety. It was weird to get up in front of people. I mean, if you're kind of known, I mean, let's think about these famous singers out there that when they come to town, what's the first thing everybody does after they see, like, I mean, let's think of a band, that the singers like Motley Crue. All right. So Vince Neil can't sing anymore. What's the first thing? He gets ripped apart. I knew that was coming down the road to where it was going to start to be like, oh, he can't quite do it anymore, and oh, it's not there. And I didn't want to stand up there and be the last one to believe it. Right. So I knew it was coming. I knew that the range was going, and the type of stuff I wanted to sing was starting to be out of reach for me. So I stepped out before I made a fool of probably a few years after I started to make a fool of myself. So that's kind of how that felt anyway. So good question though. Thanks for that. I am weird, Jeff. Willman, 18-wheeler. All right, where are we at here? What's the latest? Chuck Murphy, you got something for me? Or you started feeling like an old man trying to be a young in others' eyes and your own. I get it. Yeah, well, that's what I'm talking about, Chuck. And you still look like you're trying to look young and cool too, but you can still kind of pull it off. I wasn't, for what you're trying to look like, right? So, but my character, I mean, look at the real guys that really are them people, like Sebastian Bach and all these Don Dokken, they are the real deal, and they look silly, I think, and they're at that age acting the way that I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. So respect her elders. Okay, what's going on here, you guys? Okay, what's the next question here? James, is that who's? I must have missed the comment here. Sorry. And yes, Kirk, it's all about enjoying what you're doing, man. And I got to be honest, I'm having the time of my life right now because I get to sit back and do the thing that I did. You guys might not know this. Look, there's so many people that I know or that know me, and some know me for doing iRock, and some people knew me for doing the local band, local artist show on 97X. And some people know me from Third Rail, my 80s tribute band. And some people know me from Drop Hammer, my original band. Some people don't, you know what I mean? There's all kinds of different places that people have found me. And so I don't know what you guys know about me. But the truth is I started everything as a guitar player. I started playing guitar at 7 years old and was in guitar contests and stuff like that when I was 14, back when it was cool to be a guitar player, and so that's how Travis and I met, was at guitar contest. And I guess that's where my heart is on the guitar. And I got to a point where I started to get bored with that too, because you know, let's be honest, when you don't make it, it's something you love. I mean, what kind of stuff, and like you guys are in the comments here, what kind of stuff were you guys into when you were a kid? I mean, just tell me, like, was anybody like a gymnast or a tennis player and you wanted to go pro and you wanted to make the big time or whatever, doing that thing that you loved? Did anybody have that? I mean, if you did, tell me in the comments here what your thing was that you wanted to be when you were a kid. Because the reason I'm asking you that is because you know me from the boys' room at the Greyhound station. I can see how this is going to be a classy show here. Thank you very much for that, Joe. Freaking weirdo. Anyway, okay, BMX. Hollowell, you thought you were going to be a pro BMX rider, okay? I think I'm correct in that's what you said there. So, okay, so you know then that when you found out that it wasn't going to happen, right? It wasn't good news to you. It wasn't like a comforting feeling to know that, well, when it really set in that it wasn't going to happen, right? So then you started looking at the BMX bike a little different because it didn't look like something that gave you that feeling anymore. It was twisting a knife every time you looked at it after that, for me anyway. And that's what I'm trying to say, so you can understand. Porn star. Okay, James, when did you find out that was? Maybe you are a porn star. I don't know what kind of stuff you do behind closed doors, but okay. So, all right, we're getting some comments here. Jason, as a kid, okay, so you were into reading liner notes and learning music trivia. That is true. Jason's probably one of the smartest dudes I know about that kind of stuff. Let's get Phyllis in here. Phyllis, you like track. Okay, always wanted to be a track star and be in the Olympics. Wow, Phyllis, man, that's wild. I mean, so you really got up in the morning and that was your thing. Like, the teachers would say, what do you want to be when you grow up? And you're like, I'm going to be in the Olympics. Because that is a huge, huge thing to go after right there. That's that's in par with when I was wanting to be a professional football player. That was the first thing I wanted to do, really, was be a professional football player. I thought that was possible for a white boy like me to be a wide receiver in the NFL, you know? Yeah. I needed a dad to whoop my ass is what I needed. But so yeah, you understand, it twists the knife now. So every time I saw the guitar, I started to just kind of see something that was a failure. But I loved playing, but what I was trying to get out of doing it wasn't coming to me. So I wasn't getting the money. I wasn't getting the success and being able to just do that. I still had to work jobs and then go out on the weekends and be a weekend warrior. And I started to realize that, man, this sucks, you know? So my passion for guitar, I had to reassess what the passion was. Is it the playing the guitar, or is it what happens when you play the guitar in front of people, and meaning the money, the girls, the attention, all that stuff? Like, was I doing it because I loved it, or was I doing it because it was a vehicle for me to make my way in the world, right? Like, was it my tool that I used, or my character, or my instrument of acceptance? You know, was it that, or was it that I really loved figuring out, oh, I could play this scale over that and the modes and this, and it sounds cool, and I'm enjoying myself, and I'm happy to be here, and I don't care if I play perfectly or I'm just having fun. And I had to reassess that, and now that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm playing in a country band where it's country-ish, it's hard rock basically is what it is, but it's under the moniker of a country band, and I get to play guitar a lot. I get to do a lot of soloing. I get to play a lot of weird chords. I get to do some fun stuff on the guitar. And I can stand there with gray hair and a beer belly and fit right in. So I don't have to act like I'm Sebastian Bach anymore. I just go play guitar, and that's what I did in the first place. So I'm having a really good time, and I'm being paid pretty well. So that's what I'm doing. Okay. All right, Phyllis, that was your second choice. Oh, is Danelle in here? That was my second choice. You guys I must have missed a couple comments here. Let's see what Jason said. My son Ian has been playing for about 11 and a half years now, and he took 1.5 years. Jesus, my eyesight, man, years. And he told me he only has 2 influences, and those are James Hetfield, and you misspelled Kirk Hammett or Yngwie Malmsteen. You spelled it Brian Minor. That can't be right, dude. How can I be an influence on anybody? I haven't done shit. But I appreciate that, dude. I mean, I appreciate that. That's really cool. But I feel like, it makes me feel weird. But we love you, Jason, and I love Ian too. Hey, I want to hear that solo, by the way, from Ian. He's learning the solo in one of the Metallica songs. I think it's "Fade to Black," if I remember right. And he's smashing it. He's doing a great job. He'll get it up to speed, and when it clicks, man, it clicks. Colin Keemley's in here. He knows, man. He knows when you're playing guitar and it finally clicks, nothing can stop you, man. Nothing can stop you. It's like the world opens up, and that's all you want to do. And Colin can do it. Colin is a bad mofo. All right. So, we're just having a little chat here, Colin. How's the road, homie? How's the road, Colin? I should bring him on here and see what, I'll get him on here one of these shows. We'll have Colin on one of these times, and we'll talk to him about what tour life is like. Yeah, Jason. Yeah. So Colin and I remember when you pick up the guitar, I maybe kids are like this today with their video games. I don't know, but that's all they want to do. They're at school and they are counting down the minutes until they can get home and play their whatever they do, whatever kids do these days. But for people like Colin and myself and most guitar players that I know, Chuck, all the people in here that are guitar players, when you're learning the guitar, I think when I look back on everything that I've done, and I mean everything, I've stood on some big stages, I've met some of my biggest heroes, and I've been the rock star. I've felt the what it feels like to be the guy and feel that stuff. And I don't care what you guys think. I'm being honest here. I've been the guy before, and I know what it feels like. But the pinnacle, the best part of all of it, the best time of any of this that I look back on fondly was the first time, man. And I've talked to guitar players about this, and they all agree. I'm getting goosebumps right now thinking about it. The real best time, the best day was when you dropped the needle on whatever record it was, and you had your guitar tuned to that song, and the song came on, and you hit that chord with the record, and it was right. And then you switched to the next one, and it was righter. And then you went to the solo, and you hit the first few notes of it. Man, nothing has been the same since, and it's never felt that good again, really. So that's the magic of guitar right there. All right, so all right, so Chuck, my daughter Taylor just started playing tonight. Playing what? Guitar? One of her favorite songs, Proud Dad, right here. Okay, she can play the intro to one of her favorite songs. Okay, so the first song okay, Colin, what do you got here? Sorry, these comments are coming up pretty cool. Van Halen, for you. Okay, I bet, dude. See, mine, Colin, was Ace Frehley. The first song that I played with a record and the guitar was Detroit Rock City. That was one. And you can't beat, waiting for Paul Stanley to come in with the and then my part's to do the fifth. Man, right there was no turning back. There was no way you could save me. There's no way. Nobody could stop me at that point. As soon as I hit that first power chord in Detroit Rock City, my life changed. My life changed. So, and I've been through a ton. Yep, Unforgiven. So, yeah, trust me, shortly after the Ace Frehley, this is fun, guys. I'm having a good time here, but like I say, I'm going to roll out of here in about 15 minutes. And thanks for being here. We got 21 people watching this stupid shit. But for me, it went right from Kiss, and I'll get some of these comments on here, but right from Kiss, and the very next thing that happened was Yngwie Malmsteen. Okay, so here I am. I figured out the blues, right? And I thought I was the shit. I was going to school like, man, they might as well just come up with some new makeup for me because I think that I'm supposed to go be in Kiss now because I know how to play their stuff. And that's how naive and stupid I was when I was 8, 9 years old, right? But then shortly after that, somebody brought like Marching Out. One of my sister's they were older than me. So one of their boyfriends had, you need to hear this. Your brother plays guitar, huh? Put this on. And I heard some Yngwie Malmsteen, and then some shit changed again, because I thought, oh, well, I got to be that good now to stand out. So then I started learning that type of stuff. So yeah, then the Metallica was shortly after that. And man, talk about one of the best. Yeah, you're going to hear that sometimes. My 90-something-year-old cat is going to make some noises here and there. Hopefully you guys make friends. But Yngwie Malmsteen, right to Metallica, all that dual guitar stuff, and Queensryche, Maiden. I used to sneak into my sister's room and sit Indian style in front. Can you say Indian style anymore? I just did. Anyway, you could sit in front of her stereo, and I'd sneak in there and put Maiden records on and try to learn them on my guitar, because I didn't have a record player in my room, so I had to sneak into my sister's. But yeah, magic times, man. It was good. It was good to hear from you there. Oh, Mark Schrupp's up in here. A little late to the party, but that's cool. What did he have to say? I'm giving up the NFL draft for this. Well, it's almost over. You can get back to it. I don't know. Did the Commanders get anybody? Did they get anybody? Anyway, they need a new name. Like, they need to call them like the Washington Redskins or something. That'd be cool. He's a Vikings fan. I don't know. We're not going to talk too much football in here, but we can talk whatever we want, actually. Okay. So anyway, yeah, that's kind of what I felt like about the guitar. It was like a heartbreak, you know, and here I am out there standing on stage trying to sing. You know, how many times are we go on stage and sing Monkey Business until we've heard enough compliments or enough people saying that, oh, you sang that good. And really, what does that do for me? It nothing is what it did for me. I would rather go back to the days when people were buying my music, and then, you know, there's people in this world right now walking around. They might not be in here right now, but there's people in this world walking around right now that have lyrics that I wrote when I was in Drop Hammer tattooed on their skin. And man, that right there, that's better than anybody saying I did Talk Dirty to Me cool, or I nailed the solo in Flying High Again. That's better than any of that shit, you know. So I had to reassess. Look, I'm not going to be famous. I'm not going to be out there doing multi-platinum records and touring and signing titties and all that stuff that people dream of, whatever that is, which I'm over that shit too. But I'm not going to be doing that. So I might as well just get my guitar, do the thing that I love to do, and sit in the back, shut up, and play guitar. You know what I mean? And because I love it. So that's what I'm doing. Oh, you have a so I'm sorry, James. Yeah, it probably sounds like freaking Trickster to you. You like that heavy shit. So Mark, yeah, you understand, man. Mark Schrupp, I don't know if everybody in here knows, but he's a veteran of the scene. He's been playing in bands. He was in a guitar contest back in the day. He was the first one, and I'm just gonna be honest. I don't care. This will be one of the last things I talk about, I guess, because it's almost 8:30. But Mark Schrupp guitar contest. Everybody's coming out there, because you brought one guitar player out at a time, and you're playing in front of, at the time, it was a freaking Call Ballroom. Call Ballroom's packed full of people because they want to see these guitar players, because in the 80s, it was cool to be a guitar player, right? So you've got your kids out there with bowl cuts, because they, back in that day, you couldn't make the commitment yet to have long hair. Everybody wanted to have long hair, but if you made that commitment, that means you couldn't get a job. That means that you couldn't, your parents would like get mad at you. Back then it was a big deal, right? To look like a rocker and wear earrings and act like that, okay? Because you couldn't get a job. You had to literally like make it in music, and then you can get tattoos and grow your hair and look stupid. But if you weren't going to make it, then you were pretty much taking a gamble that you're not going to be able to work anywhere. If you're, you know what I mean? That's kind of what it was like. So you'd get your bowl cut guys out there, guitar jacked up here. They're out there doing their thing. But then you'd get like your Scott Whitehalls. And Mark, you know all these players. I can't remember them now, but Travis is a killer player. There was a ton of great players. But Mark Schrupp stood out to me because he was the first one that understood showmanship, right? Because we all came out there thinking, as long as I just go, it's going to be, the judges are going to like, oh, and you win, you're the greatest, Mark Schrupp comes out there and he freaking hits a power chord and he lifts the guitar up and he goes down on one knee with one leg sticking out and he's on one knee and he's playing like this, like, right? And I'm going, oh, this is about performance too, right? So I'll never forget that about Mark Schrupp. And as a matter of fact, and I'm going to be honest on these things. So thanks for joining me, Mark. I'm glad. We all sucked back then. I've watched the videos. We thought we were good. We were not that good. Yeah. Anyway, when I'm in bands sometimes and people that know Mark Schrupp and know me and whatever, we used to refer to, like, if we were going to go do a show and we were going to really like perform and showboat, we would say, we're going to Schrupp it up. Okay. So that's so, like, it's part of our vernacular when we would talk about things, you know, and he has the same kind of stories. The band I'm in now, Dirt Road Rockers, they're like, is it in B minor, or is it in Brian minor, or is it in, they did that to me. So anyway, we work other people into our vernacular sometimes in bands. And I used to call that, I was shrupping it up. And that means like showboating a little bit, you know, like getting whatever. So, that's exactly what got me fired from Lynn Allen. So I'm drinking pop, actually. This is just Pepsi. Stop down there at the Quick Star, grab myself a Pepsi. I'm old, man. I can't be drinking like that anymore. Yeah. So, Wellman, what did he have to say here? Mary wants to know if you are going to start wearing those cowboy jeans with the embroidered back pockets. And honestly, I wondered the same thing. Right there. The answer is no, man. I don't have bedazzled pants. I wear normal, whatever I want to wear. As a matter of fact, I joined this band thinking that, okay, you know, my wife took me to Farm and Fleet so I could get me some Wrangler shirts or whatever, or some Western shirts. And I was doing that. And then we get around the band. I'm not going to do it, Hollowell. I'm not going to wear no bedazzled pants, dude. It's not going to happen. Trust me. That's not what's up. So I get to hang out with the band. And they're like, I mean, even these famous country bands, the stuff we're doing, like, I don't know if you guys have heard that, it's a juked out joint on a dirt road, something with an arrow, right? Or whatever. Cold as You. Big guy. I'm wearing a Metallica shirt in the video. He's a country singer. He's got a Metallica shirt on and a baseball cap, right? So these country people aren't wearing cowboy hats anymore. They're wearing jeans and Kiss shirts, you know what I mean? And baseball caps. It's weird. I know. And the solos sound like they're straight out of a Bon Jovi song in these songs anymore. I'm telling you, man, this new country stuff is, I'm not going to sit here and say that it's great, but it's like playing old 80s standards. It really is. I mean, I swear to God, like, there's 2 Talk Dirty to Me's, there's 3 Nothing But a Good Times, and I think you guys get it. There's a couple Round and Rounds in there somewhere. You know, it's just the same crap. It's just, look, playing heavy metal just doesn't draw. You're not going to make that much money doing it unless you're super famous. And country music, people like it, and they're going to come out and see it, and we're going to make decent money. So that's what we're doing. Country died a long time. It did. The real country. Yep. Rock and roll with country lyrics. You nailed it, Kirk. And listen, I mean, we can put on some Dwight Yoakam or whatever, and you'll hear an interesting country voice, you know. And I know there's a lot of people here that ain't here for country and talking about it, but when the prospect of joining a country band came along, I was actually really excited about learning how to play some of that chicken picking stuff, because it's a new approach, right? I mean, I've done arpeggios and speed picking and all this metal stuff. It was interesting to have to buckle down and relearn the guitar again. And I was really kind of let down because there wasn't much of it in the country music. You know, I'd listen to a solo and it was all Ace Frehley bends and stuff. And I'm like, man, this is not very fun, but still a lot of cool stuff. So outlaw country was it. You're right, James. I love that old stuff, man. You know, it's where it was, but it's not the same anymore. I mean, all right. So what's everybody's take on this whole, what's this? Morgan Wallen canceling at the Mark, people tripping. Actually, it was a different place that people showed up, right? opening band plays. It's like, could you imagine going to like a Metallica concert? You got your tickets, freaking, you're there in the arena, and whoever the opening band is that night, who is opening for Metallica? It's a bunch of different bands. I think for me, it would be Greta Van Fleet would be the one I probably, or Pantera. Come on. Anyway, so the opening band plays, and then there's just like on the screen it says, sorry, but Metallica decided they're not playing tonight. And so bye. I mean, back in the day, you guys remember back in the day, we'd like burn the place down. Remember that? Like Guns N' Roses, and wasn't that the Metallica Guns and all that? They canceled or whatever, and they burnt the place down. You know, Morgan Wallen fans are like, well, I'm going to sue you. That's just how the world is now, man. It's different. We used to flip cars over and say, you know, and burn the town down if Metallica canceled. Now it's like, we're upset because we went to Cracker Barrel and spent money and we're going to sue you. So, different world we live in. Yep, it was in Mississippi. All right. Hey, Chuck, calm down now. Calm down. All right. So was Mark Kane's in the house here. He said, turn down the heavy metal. You can't tell what they're saying anyway, said my mom. And I said, yeah, you're right, Mark. It was like, what? You can't understand what they're saying. Right. Like, hey, I don't understand half the stuff that they're saying in rap either. I mean, but geez. So I liked, okay, I was a Metallica and Megadeth and Pantera and all that stuff, and I love that stuff, but I was more into the melodic stuff. I was a big Dangerous Toys kind of dude. Queensryche, loved Queensryche. That was just it for me. Operation Mindcrime was like the Bible of metal records for me. So, I mean, there's no going wrong with that. Love that vocal. Love that vocal. All right. So, man, this was a good time. I don't know. I might, let's see. We still got like 19 people hanging out here. I'd like to do this again, maybe next Thursday or something. I don't know. This was weird though. It's weird to like go on live and do this. I'm used to being able to edit it and make it interesting and all that shit. So, let's see. What did Thomas had to say? I think we should start a Wikipedia for Brian. What does everybody think about that? I don't know what that means. Okay. Jason, I got lucky to grow up in a rock and roll house. My dad named me after his favorite singer, Ian Gillan of Deep Purple. See, that's awesome. And Jason, I know the story on all that, and we'll get into that sometime too, because hey, when I do these, I'm not looking to just keep these all 100% upbeat and just like, hey, yeah, we're going to talk about some fun shit now. A lot of this is going to be psychology for me, like kind of like therapy. And maybe for some of you too. I mean, I'd like to hang out with you guys maybe we'll pick a day, but I'd like to hang out with a group of people like this for an hour again. And we can just keep doing this, you know, because I think it's pretty cool. And I get to talk and you guys get to talk. And I mean, I can put you on the show. I mean, I could, if, you know, every day, every time I do this or every week I do this, I can have a different person on the screen with me and we can hang out and we'll call this the cult. I mean, I'm not trying to take anything from Wonk. I'm just saying that we can hang out here during the week sometimes if we want, you know? So I don't know if you guys dig that, let me know, like, you know, share it, like let everybody know that what we're doing here. We'll have a little bit of a hangout. Maybe I'll play some guitar or maybe we'll do whatever the hell we want, man. But thanks for being here. Thanks for showing up. I mean, this could have been a disaster. I was afraid. I was scared that I was going to show up and have the big countdown and 2 people be here, you know, and that's the way the world is. Nobody cares. I'm just a local guy doing my local thing. And I appreciate that you guys took the time to sit here and hang out with me, man. Very cool. So I appreciate you guys. We'll see you, I don't know, next time, I guess. Take it easy. Be safe.